5.
Mentira fue la tarde tu pasado. Mentira fue la tarde tu pasado.
What's going on, everybody? This is the In the Money DFS podcast. My name is Justin, host of In the Money DFS podcast. And I'm joined as always by my co-host, partner in crime, Dan Lamagna at FF Coach Dan on Twitter. What's going on?
Just great to see you tonight, man. It's I think we're here recording on a Thursday. It's hours removed from week 12. We just flipped the page to week 13 with this crazy NFL schedule that we're trying to keep up on in all our leagues. But hey, week 12 was profitable, man. You know, if I think our listeners listen to In the Money, we pointed them in the right direction, had some good lineups. So cha-ching, let's do it again here in week 13.
Yeah, man. I mean, I think we had we texted behind the scenes in the show saying one of these days we're gonna have to move the podcast around a little bit to make things work. And I think my mind's just all out of sorts because we had a game yesterday for last week. I'm like, wait a minute, it's not Tuesday, it's Thursday today. I'm all out of sorts, man. The NFL just who knows? It's a weird time for sure. It's 2020 in a nutshell with a Wednesday 3:40 p.m. Eastern game. You know, you can't ask for much more 2020 than a Wednesday at 3:40 Eastern time. But your boy Hollywood finally decided to unretire.
Yeah, you know, it's like cruel and unusual punishment there. You know, I had him up in some leagues, so it was nice to see some production. I have enough shares in dynasty leagues. The DFS singles game slate there, I was a little disturbed because I think it was our last show where I said I was divorcing him, and I was so salty. And then going into the game, like I knew it was not a smash spot, but if there was a time for him to have a game, that was going to be it with all the guys out with COVID. And Mark Andrews was out, Dobbins, Ingram. So someone had to get some volume there. Snead was even out. So that was the time for him to get it. So glad there was a little production, but of course that was with Trace McSorley. So I don't even know if that counts. I mean, they're going to keep Trace McSorley starting? I'm not sure.
I know today Harbauer was didn't want to talk about Lamar Jackson's availability for this Sunday, so fired up Trace McSorley, man. It's Trace McSorley. But last week, Tyreek Hill, what a game. I mean, that dude went off. Your boy Derrick Henry decided to eat. I mean, Mans comes alive post-Thanksgiving every single year. It's just, I don't know what it is. I mean, I think it's everyone else's bodies are breaking down. This dude's just not human, so of course, he's just going to keep plowing forward. I don't think he changes anything of his game. I think it's mainly just the fact that everyone else is breaking down. He doesn't break down.
It was beautiful last week, Derrick Henry there, and Derrick
Poetry
Henry
in motion.
Him and Tyreek Hill, man. It was. That's what part of the reason the main reason I was in the money. I had some lineups with Derrick Henry and Tyreek in the same lineup with the Kansas City stack. Again, as we talked through our strategies last week, at one point our worlds connected there, and we said, hey, Kansas City stack, not highly owned. So I followed our advice. The only mistake I made last week, Justin, is I put that lineup in like not the big play $100 contests. I went with the Josh Allen stack in those contests. So I profited, had a good week, but it could have been a real good week if I just put it in the right contest. So contest selection was a little bit of my Achilles last week. So hopefully this week we'll get the lineup right and the contest selection. And hopefully Trace McSorley doesn't go off versus my Cowboys, and it'll be a good week 13.
Yeah, I'm excited. Let's get into it, man. So week 13. I'll be honest with you, Dan. I think there's games on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, no Wednesday this week. It's 3 days. The main slate, it covers Sunday. Doesn't cover the Monday, Tuesday game, correct? Just making sure we get it. Yeah, so we don't have to. I was gonna, what I always like to do, my strategy in 2020 was just any team going against the Dallas Cowgirls, you just got to put them against them because they dominate. And the yellow flag comes up.
Whatever. Flag here, 15 yards, Yeah, I'm out of sorts, man. My Cowboys are taking me on the roller coaster there. There's no Thursday night game. This is the first time you and I haven't talked about a Thursday night game.
We can make up a Thursday night game.
right. The Tampa. It's called the Tampa Bay Carolina bye week Thursday night, I guess.
Yeah, DJ
Last
Moore.
week of a bye. Your boy DJ Moore gets a break.
Thank goodness he's okay. He needs to. Oh, dude, that was so. Last week with DJ Moore and that injury, it was wide open in the end zone. You could have made that throw. John Bauer could have made that throw. Mitch could have made that throw. My dad probably could have made that throw. But I don't know what Teddy Two Gloves is doing. He's trying to ruin DJ Moore's career out here, making him jump for an extended ball. Hopefully, it's just the ankle sprain. That's what it looked like. But I'm glad to see he's okay. And now that's the Thursday night game we're talking about. the bye weeks.
Imaginary one.
Yeah, the imaginary Thursday night game. The bye weeks. Quarterbacks this week, Dan. Who do you like?
This started out, I think you and I messaged each other via group chat or text, whatever it was earlier in the week. And I was like, man, the slate's a little bit rough at first. And it took me a little while to kind of find a comfort zone in what I like this week. Cause throughout 12 weeks of this season, there's been, when it's evolved from the Dak stacks to the Josh Allen stacks. Mahomes has been reliable. Kyler Murray hit a hot streak. Russ was freed. And then you looked at the slate and I was like, those plays aren't there. Like Russ, I don't like him as much. Kyler Murray versus the Rams, health issues, just wasn't feeling it. So after some further review and good study, and my strongest play is I'm really loving Aaron Rodgers at 6,800 versus the Eagles, who are just looking atrocious right now. I think he could have a really good game. Still thinking a little bit about, hey, what if they go back to the Aaron Jones train? But I just haven't seen that this year, man. They have been passing inside the red zone like mad. As I've watched Aaron Jones get gypped in recent weeks. So I'm loving Aaron Rodgers. I also like, I'm a little bit between which one I like more of, Kirk Cousins at 6,400. I can't believe I'm saying Kirk Cousins. That's why I said this is a strange DFS week. But I think he's going to have a big – Whoa! Hey, you buzzed me last week with T.Y. Hilton and didn't let me talk. And Hilton.
Oh no, we're not. No, listen. I have a new rule. Listen. I understand that on Dynasty Theory, they don't let you talk about the Cowboys. I understand, so I let you talk about the Cowboys in here. However, there's no T.Y. Hilton.
We'll come back to that when we talk wide receivers. I throw out the penalty flag again, maybe. But Minnesota versus the Jags, it's predicted to like around 52 over under there. The Jags are still scoring, so they're I like those games where the other team's going to put up some points as well, and I think it'll happen here. So I do like Cousins. I also like Tannehill, believe it or not, 6,200. Again, the problem with these picks is you have Dalvin Cook and Derrick Henry on the other side, so you're a little bit nervous it becomes a running game. But I just got this feeling the way they've been playing in the matchups. Aaron Rodgers is my best pick, and I love Cousins and Tannehill. I can't believe I even noted Phillip Rivers because I do like the Indianapolis matchup. But that's leaning me more back towards Deshaun Watson, even though I was originally off that and put a big question mark because there's no Will Fuller. But the Indianapolis secondary has been struggling. They're a little tougher to run against. And I think Watson's running more himself. And he might be that one running quarterback that I like the most than just a good two-way high-scoring potential matchup.
I like those picks. I like the Tannehill suggestion. I think that's a good idea. I actually don't mind Kirk Cousins. It's just the wrong buzzer for anytime I hear Kirk Cousins because it's Kirk Cousins.
It's ugly.
It's gross, but it could put up points. Minnesota is a favorable matchup. They have a second highest over-under on the entire week, and they're heavy favorites. So I wonder, like you mentioned, Dalvin Cook being on that side, if they're going to start running the ball more because I know that Mike Zimmer.
They're talking about trying to keep him healthy, though, Justin. That's what's getting me thinking a little bit. They're saying they want to be
doesn't even matter
with them.
They're
just a little careful with him.
They need a lot of careful. Yeah,
Thielens back.
Yeah. So they got the weapons there. I like the Aaron Rodgers thing because the Eagles are just like the Cowboys where they suck. But if you look a little lower, a guy who sucked last week, who really shouldn't have, and we got it wrong, a lot of people in the industry got it wrong, was Derek Carr. I don't understand how he did so poorly last week. It makes no sense to me. So I'm feeling another positive matchup against the Jets, which is even worse than the Eagles and the Cowboys. It's funny to say this because these are bottom four teams in the league right now, Dan. I mean, it's gross. But
I'm hurting a little bit from last week because Derek Carr cost me an important dynasty game with a -2 points. -2. How do you get -2 versus the Atlanta Falcons, who are struggling?
They're awful against the pass. I was baffled. I lost the redraft leagues. I streamed Derek Carr in a couple of leagues, and he completely screwed me. But this week is the anti-recency bias week because 5,800 against the Jets, you're gonna play Derek Carr.
The Jets do fix everything, even though they're traveling across the country. The Jets do fix everything, so he is on my list. So I do like your pick. I'm just still hurting a little bit. I'm not over it yet. Here
I
on
understand.
Thursday.
No, I understand. It makes sense. I also don't love it. It's gross.
You're not. Don't say it. Don't say it.
All right, I'm not gonna say it. I'll skip over that one. I kind of still like to play Taysom Hill in cash. I think Taysom Hill is a solid cash option. He's 6,300. And now I'm gonna say the one that maybe you think I'm gonna say, but maybe you don't think I'm gonna say. It's cheaper than Derek Carr. Actually, it's the same price.
Don't do it.
Don't do Jared Goff.
No, okay, that's not what I thought.
Oh, yeah, I can't do it. I have a thing. Remember, Dan? I'm not allowed to like any more players ever again. So we're doing Jared Goff. Jared Goff, 5,800. He's been on and off this whole season, and he was off last week, so it's an on week this week. It makes sense to me. I mean, Cooper Kupp didn't really do anything last week. I think he's gonna have a bounce back game. Robert Woods is solid. They are 3-point favorites against the Arizona Cardinals. I believe this is going to be a high-paced game. I think they're going to want to bounce back from last week's awful performance by Jared Goff. He looks good some weeks, like really good some weeks, like top 5 quarterback in the league some weeks, and then he looks like Jared Goff. I mean, I'm not a big Jared Goff guy. It's kind of like Kirk Cousins to me. They're in the same range. Where it's like, oh, I don't like these guys. They kind of suck, but they can get the job done this week in some favorable matchups.
If he plays like Jared Goff could with that offense, it's a nice play at 5,800. So I could definitely see it. I thought you were going to say Mitchell Trubisky. That's why I was a little bit worried at 5,400 there. There's been some talk about him in the DFS circuits there that, he's got a nice matchup this week and normally eats versus Detroit, but I'm not buying it, but I thought maybe you'd go there.
Dan, I know you don't like Mr. Trubisky. We had this discussion, I think, week 2 or week 3 when I was saying Mr. Trubisky in cash, and you were like, that's disgusting. That's gross. Don't ever say that again, or I'm trying to find a new co-host. So I learned my lesson from that last time. Now, who would be better? I have a quick question before we go on to running backs or wide receivers. Jared Goff in the Rams offense, which we already know, or Trace McSorley in the Rams offense with Sean McVay. I'm saying Trace McSorley.
We don't have enough of a sample size there.
We don't need one. I have enough of a sample size
quarterback to actually being the first guy to throw Marquise Brown a touchdown here. So,
he could unlock the Rams offense. Yeah, there. But going on to wide receivers, a guy I love and you don't love is DK Metcalf. I remember you saying on Twitter.
Whoa.
No. I remember you saying when he came out of college that he wasn't strong enough to be in the NFL.
What? You're making it strong enough. Strong is not a problem.
And you said he wasn't fast enough. I don't.
That's the anti-DK Metcalf. I might have some concerns about his route running and wonder why teams passed on him.
You said he doesn't look like the NFL body.
No. What? That dude's chiseled, man. He's a freak there. Him, AJ Brown, they're in a special league of their own. The only time I'm anti-DK Metcalf is when I rolling the DFS dice, and I try to tell you it's a Tyler Lockett week, which I think I'm about like 500 this year on my Lockett Metcalf week. So I was hot for a while there, but I've went to the well a little too much lately. His Metcalf's been heating up and Lockett's been cooling down. So I do have DK Metcalf here, just so you see, Justin. Let me see if I could.
It's not strong enough to play in the NFL.
DK highlighted. Okay, I have a lot of names on here, but he's on the highlighted list. So don't say I don't like him when I highlighted him there. So
you said he wasn't strong or fast enough.
I think
you also said that you said Zion's athleticism wouldn't let him be in the NBA.
Oh, geez, here we go. I'm a Duke fan. I didn't say that, but
you are.
You
and Paul would get along. Let's go get him down here.
He's got good taste there. Let's see. Go Duke all the way, man. Coach K.
Oh, jeez.
But no, DK is awesome, man. But I guess my only question on DK this week for
there is no question. No, there is no question.
Is where does he fit in the lineups? Because I'm not.
Yeah,
I'm a little concerned about Russ and who's Seattle playing here. Where's
the Giants?
Yeah, that said he should eat versus the Giants.
I don't even care if it's Bradbury or whatever, man. It doesn't matter.
Maybe I think it's going to be a blowout and Chris Carson. Maybe that's my worries. I don't know. But Russ, this is a nice spot for Russ this week, too.
6,700. Allen Robinson, beast mode. He's a high floor. I like him in cash, obviously. I think he also going to have a nice game if Mitch Trubisky. Like, literally, if I'm a Bears quarterback, I know I have one job to not get pulled and to possibly win us the game. That's throw the ball to Allen Robinson every single play. I don't see the problem. It's not a hard job. Mitch Trubisky, you don't want to get benched again? All right, throw the ball to Allen Robinson. Good things happen. And look what happened last week. 2 touchdowns to Allen Robinson, 27 points. I like Allen Robinson this week. And another good week. I think 20-plus points is almost a guarantee. $6,700, way too cheap.
He's excellent for cash, and I guess maybe GPP he's interesting, and that's why I bring up Mitchell Trubisky this week, because A-Rob has a nice matchup versus Detroit. He could smash at home. So a good pick.
Justin Jefferson. I mean, it's never gonna fail me. I don't care if they're 10-point favorites. You can look at it at Thielen's back. Well, guess what? I don't really care. Jack Smith puts up points. Jefferson is a elite wide receiver in the NFL. I'm not even saying
slow down. He's a rookie now. You can't call him a rookie elite.
I just did.
Maybe upcoming star in the making.
Oh,
future superstar.
All right. Well, I want to be on record saying this now.
He's not Jerry Rice now. I mean, come on.
Oh, that's not elite. That's beyond elite. I think my definition of elite is a little lower than Dan's definition of elite. I don't know if that's because I'm younger and that's what we think everyone's elite. Like DJ Moore is kind of elite.
No, elite's like Hall of Fame.
That's not elite. That's Hall of Fame. That's its own category.
But if you're elite, you're going into the Hall of Fame. You're one of the best ever.
Okay. Like, Justin Jefferson is.
He's not with Julio and Devontae Adams and Nuke yet.
He's Pro Bowl. He's Pro Bowl caliber. Justin Jefferson is a Pro Bowl caliber wide receiver. Is that better? Is that the way you want?
That is better. You can't mislead our listeners. They hear an elite receiver being a great buy. They're going to be jamming them in all the DFS lineups.
Well, they should. It's Justin Jefferson, 6,900. That's the guy I like. I also like a bounce back game from Michael Pittman Jr. 4,900. I mean, that's Dan's guy. His NFL pedigree. Yeah, I mean, I can do that ching for you. I don't have it pulled up. Wait till I get my new laptop, Dan. It's gonna be way quicker.
Can't wait.
And I mean, it's supposed to get here this week, but it's not. I think it's gonna be here next week. I'm kind of angry about this. Apple's letting me down. You're hopefully one of your Apple Home Minis can hear me saying this, because I'm like, come on, hurry it up here. Let's get it shipped out there. What wide receivers do you like? I always said 3. I don't want to take more of your type. 2 more I want to give, but I want you to go first.
They're good ones. We're on the same page. I like paying up for Devontae Adams this week at $9K, but my Green Bay stacks, that's definitely one I'm high on with Green Bay. Like Pittman, like you said, along with T.Y. Hilton, if we're going with the Houston Colts stack there, man. Did you see Hilton last week? 18 DraftKings point. I had a little hot symbol next to my lineup that was 30 points away from winning the Millie Maker, Justin. Just so you know, 30 points away with T.Y. Hilton in it there. And, you play that back with Watson Cooks. We'll talk about stacks later. I like Brandon Cooks at 5,500.
Oh, he's giving away stacks already, too. I made sure I didn't give away any stacks, Dan. I usually do. I'm notorious for giving away my stacks. You just gave a stack away.
Well, I'm trying, but it's your reaction to Hilton. I'm letting you know there's a home for him this week in week 13. There's a home for him. All right, I'll change the subject for now just to get you back. But the other guy I like is Robert Woods. You mentioned liking the Rams.
Bobby Trees.
5,900, man. That's how do you price a number 1 wide receiver in a good matchup at 5,900? I'm not quite sure. So I definitely love Bobby Trees. And then if you're looking for a pump play, Kiki Kuti at 3,500 is intriguing. And there are a couple of nice plays. Maybe Brashad Perryman, 3,900. Sterling Shepard's been interesting at 5,300 as well. He's been playing very good football week in and week out.
That's definitely a Coach Dan type player, Sterling Shepard. Man, doesn't do anything great, but does everything pretty decently. I mean, he's a solid wide receiver that I think Coach Dan would like to have on his real football roster.
Especially when you play a terrible Seattle Seahawks defense, which might just take him over the top this week.
That's good. I like that call out. So that's a good props to you for Sterling Shepard. And you forgot to mention an elite number 11 wide receiver for 6,400 going against the Cincinnati Bengals and Devontae Parker. I mean, the dude's a target magnet when Fitzy's in, so keep an eye on the report if Tua's going to play. I don't think Tua's going to play this week, but 8 of 14 targets last week for 119 yards. No touchdown. This week he gets in the end zone.
Parker was really good last week, man. Sorry to interrupt you here.
I love any Dolphins, any pro Dolphins talk. You are welcome to jump in, cut me off, and just keep going. I
had 2 Kansas City stacks last week that both cashed. And the one that was 30 points away from the Millie Maker, I took Kansas City and I played it back with Antonio Brown. And Brown was like the worst pick in the whole lineup. It was one of 2 picks that didn't pan out. Everything else had like the little hot symbol by it. So it was a really good week. 7 out of 9 as we tried to hit that 9-player trifecta to win a Millie Maker. But my other lineups that won, I swapped out Brown in the last hour with your boy Devontae Parker. And he smashed while Brown didn't. So I was really happy about that. So my construction was so close to just going 9 for 9 if I kind of merged the two. But Devontae Parker, man, he has been gold week in, week out. I think Fitzpatrick's going to start again, and he's just going to feed Parker.
Yes, sir. Now moving on to running backs, a lot of guys I do like. I think it's in cash, especially in cash. I'm making this known. This is mainly for cash. It's never a bad idea to play James Robinson. The dude is just dominating touches in the backfield, and he's producing week in, week out with touches he gets. 7,300. I'm paying for him in cash. I like the matchup against Minnesota as well. Minnesota's not really that good of a run-stopping team. So I do like James Robinson. Now, if we're going into GBP or cash, doesn't really matter. Austin Eckler came back last week and commanded targets. This dude came back in and he had 16 targets, which
is crazy.
Which is like what?
First game back.
Oh, your hamstring, it's fine. Oh, okay. Here's 16 targets.
Yeah, Justin.
For perspective, Josh Allen threw the ball 24 times last week, so these guys almost like that's crazy.
Yeah, he was all about targeting Eckler, also Hunter Henry and Allen, but Allen's targets might be dipping down a little bit as Eckler gets more involved.
Yeah, small sample size. We'll see.
I was on Eckler last week. He was in those winning GPP lineups, and just watching the Chargers weeks before, how they used Kalen Ballage, what people aren't talking about a lot is they're having some O-line difficulties. So they're trying to still keep the running game going, even if it's not working great, to protect Herbert, and they're dumping off a lot more. And, the talent difference between Eckler and Kalen Ballage is night and day, and Ballage was putting up good fantasy numbers the weeks before. So I love Eckler again at 7,100. I'm with you there. Good take.
Thank you. I try to get good takes here. Keep an eye on Josh Jacobs' report. I think that if he is out, then Devontae Booker is going to be almost an auto lock in a lot of leagues and DraftKings lineups, especially because he's 5,500 and it's also against the Jets. I like Wayne Gallman, 5,600 against Seattle. The man's is getting touches and he's looking pretty solid, surprisingly. So Wayne Gallman, consistent running back, and then of course it would be Dustin Pump like if I don't include Jonathan Taylor, activated from the COVID list on Wednesday, 5,700 against Houston. If AP can score 2 touchdowns, why can't Jonathan Taylor?
I said Gallman last week. And I took him in some lineups, and he hit again last week. He was a nice play. I wish I kept him in more. I was tinkering a little bit with some lower guys last week. Brian Hill was one of the busts that I'm so salty. Even though he was stone cold minimum 4,000, he was a bust. But Gallman, you're right, man. He's been producing every week. The only thing you got to watch.
It's crazy. Like I don't even want to think he does produce because it's on the Giants and it's just a gross offense. But he's been producing.
The only thing you got to watch there is going to get grosser with Colt McCoy at quarterback, and Devontae Freeman might be coming back.
Yeah,
so Freeman's going to eat into that. You don't want anyone eating into Gallman's touches because you need every point you could get out of them. So, but the interesting plays, Gallman and Taylor. I mean, they could surface. Taylor was starting to really, shine until he got hurt. So we'll keep an eye on that one.
I didn't say one name on purpose, I want to say, because I know it's your boy. So hopefully you take over the ropes here and mention this guy, which I think you 99% of the chance you're definitely going to mention this guy. So who do you like at running back, Dan?
I'm going to mention it, but probably not in the way you think I'm going to mention it.
Oh, geez.
All right,
because you don't want to get too overzealous. You don't want to sound like you're too much of a sucker for this guy. I see what you're doing here. I see the reverse psychology games you've been. I know I do the same thing. It's smart. I like it.
I'm conflicted this week, though. I've got a different dilemma, and that's that, like, there's like 4 running backs I like, but they're all playing against each other. I don't like playing 2 running backs in the same game. And you got Derek King Henry versus Nick Chubb, and I love them both. And, King Henry at 9,200, I mean, I love him at home, but hey, maybe Tannehill does pass a little bit more this week, and King Henry has a good game. He's definitely, all these guys are locks for cash, but I'm trying to find the GPP blow-up game again. And I don't know if King Henry does it 2 weeks in a row. And then Chubb I love, but Henry's going to be eating the clock on the other side. Dalvin Cook he could pay up for at 9,500. But again, I think they could pass a little bit more this week. And he's got James Robinson going on the other side. So I'm just not feeling those stacks. I'm not quite sure where they fit. Eckler's probably definitely my best play.
My heart's beating fast. I think I know what you're trying to go with here. I know who you're going to say.
Kamara is interesting versus Atlanta at 7,000.
I know who you're going to say.
Well, Latavius Murray's kind of eating into that, and Taysom Hill hasn't been throwing to Kamara. So I think I like your boy Miles Sanders, buddy, as a playback in that Houston game.
Let's go. Yes.
6,700. We'll talk about that game. But I love Green Bay with Rodgers and Adams. Maybe this is the week he gets the volume and he's priced right and could be good, you know. And then David Montgomery's a guy I also love at 5,500. I just think he did look good in that Bears game last week. Good enough anyway. I just think he's got another good matchup. He's priced right and he's going to get a lot of volume, so he could be good. And the last running back I'm going to name, who's just a guy I've been keeping an eye on, who's been kind of spiking up last week, is Cam Akers at 4,500. I think that's a great value, and he might just be the guy right now and get the larger share of the workload with the Rams. Although trying to guess McVay's offense, that could change on a dime, but right now he's been trending up for me.
I think Cam Akers scores more fantasy points in week 13 than I don't have a drum roll here. Well, I do. Ezekiel Elliott. Well, all right. Now on to the next thing. We're going to tight ends now. So
That's
tight
wrong.
ends. Yeah.
That was wrong. That's all right. I'll let you play. Luckily, Zeke's Tuesday night, so it's irrelevant.
Yeah, he's not here. But they can't have conflicting views because we can't talk about it on the slate. But I just did. Dallas Goedert, 4,300. Lock him in. I mean, that dude's just dominating target share, and he's looking really, really good. It's why he's always been a top 6 dynasty tight end for me. I mean, the man's is just really, really fun. Like he's good, and I don't think Zach Ertz is a long-term answer. I think they're seeing what life is like without Zach Ertz to build around their future, and Dallas Goedert is that guy. 4,300 is very, very cheap considering he's not even top 5 priced on the slate.
The coach of me definitely likes that pick. You know, having
but what doesn't? I don't like when you start like that.
Ertz is coming back, and the team still sucks. You know, that's where I'm a little bit conflicted because there's some other plays I like on this slate. But in watching that game and how they used Goddard, he looks good. Like, I mean, he looks like a legit tight end. He definitely looks like their number 1 wide receiver. I've been hoping Rager would kind of, shine a little more, and he's just getting those like
this whole offense is just gross to watch, man. Like, why are you not running the offense through Miles Sanders in the first spot? Number 2, why are you not using Rager downfield? Number 3, why are you the Eagles? Like,
yeah, I mean, they should be running the ball more to protect Wentz. He's not throwing the ball well. Their offensive line's atrocious. I mean,
put Hurts in.
It's as bad as Dallas's O-line when Dallas has guys out. You know, I'm hoping Dallas gets Zach Martin back sooner than later, but the Eagles got major issues there. But he is the number 1 guy. They are feeding him. Even when Ertz comes back, they will feed him. Again, I just don't know if the Eagles offense will produce enough to make it worth it for a GPP, but he's definitely on the radar. I guess where I like more, I'd rather pay up a little bit and get Hunter Henry at 4,800. The Chargers, he had double-digit targets last week.
No, he's been getting targets this year. He's just the Crimson Chin. I don't know if you know what Fairly Odd Parents is, but if anyone wants to look up the Crimson Chin and tell me it's not Hunter Henry, then good luck, because it is Hunter Henry. I mean, he's solid.
Crimson what?
All right, hold on. We're gonna bring this up for you because we need to teach Dan.
You're gonna Google that for me? Thank you. Save me the shirt. That's nice. Hey, as long as he put it next to him, points, he could be the Crimson Chin. Yeah. Here's the thing. You look at
he's got the big chin, man. It's like huge. He's the Crimson Chin.
That's all right, man. He's gonna win me some money, I think, this week. Because here's the thing: Keenan Allen's been awesome this year. Been getting a ton of targets. Eckler, we know, is going to get targets, but Keenan Allen's going to be having the Gilmore shadow treatment this week, and I think he'll still get targets and score. Okay. But a few more targets, especially in the red zone, are probably going to go to Hunter Henry. And if he gets touchdowns along with the targets, catches, and yards he's been getting at 4,800, Hunter Henry's a very nice value. So I'd rather go up to Henry or go down to Robert Tonyan in that Green Bay game for 3,700, or go down even further in the Houston game to Jordan Akins at 2,900. I think that they have the most upside and potential for their prices on this week's slate. And I'm just going to manipulate the tight end conversation here on you, man, and just say Darren Waller at 6,100. I just can't ignore him. I still think he's the number 1 guy. He's got another good matchup this week. And then, I don't like him. I'm not going to take him. I think he's hurt, and that's why part of the reason he's not producing. But Jonnu at 4,100, it's got a nice matchup versus Cleveland, who tight ends have done well against. So for our listeners, I'm going to mention them, but I'm a little afraid to take them.
Yeah, I think there's an injury at hand as well, because it doesn't really make much sense what's going on. You mentioned them all. I like them all. I'm not gonna argue with any of the ones you said. I like the Hunter Henry Crimson Chin pick. I think that's a very, very solid option. But I'm gonna give a $2,800 one because you kept on going lower and saying you want to go all the way down to 2,900. Well, if you want to go down to 2,800, Dan Arnold against the Rams. It's gross. It's really gross. It's a 1 out of 100 lineup kind of thing you want. Yeah, I just kind of threw up my mouth up a little bit too, Dan. Just saying that. I mean, his picture's also gross too. This dude that got this kind of money and doesn't get like a nice haircut. Like, what's wrong with you? Dan Arnold. Let me talk to you real quick, man. But that's gonna do it for tight ends. It's gross, man. Now, defenses, the best defense is definitely the Dolphins at 4,400 against Cincinnati. I mean, Brandon Allen, Dolphins defense is just a match made in heaven. I guarantee a touchdown from the defenses and special teams from the Fins up Dolphins. I think it's a defense that I'm okay with paying up for in cash, especially. But in GPP, I know you want to go a little cheaper because it's smart to go a little cheaper. I understand this. So the Seattle Seahawks, 3,300. It's $1,000 cheaper than the Dolphins. And against the Giants with Colt McCoy, I mean, yes, the Seattle Seahawks they suck at defense. Like it's definitely not like their strong suit, but neither is the Giants offense. So it's a match made in heaven.
Good takes with you on both of them. I think, even GPP, sometimes it is contrarian paying all the way up, and you take the highest priced defense on the slate in Miami, you could have a little bit of leverage there paying all the way up. So I like that. I like Seattle as well if I'm paying down, and that's kind of the way I'm approaching this week is either, hey, if I have one of those roster constructions where I could pay up to Miami, I'll do so, or even pay up. I want to go. I shouldn't say pay up. I think that middle range is Seattle, and there's also the Rams at 3,200 versus a hurting Kyler Murray. That Rams defense is awesome this year, so they're kind of just in the fold for me. And then if I'm going to pay down or potentially punt, the Falcons at home. I mean, they're just playing good football. Taysom Hill's kind of hot and cold. At 2,400, they're not a bad punt. And believe it or not, even though I don't like this pick, it's ugly. The Jaguars at 2,000, I have no problem paying all the way down because there are some lineups where I do want to spend extra money, and I did somehow just land at the Jaguars. I'm going to punt and live with it and hope Kirk Cousins makes a Kirk Cousins mistake, which we know he can.
You know what? I was doing this face, which people can't even see, but just imagine just biting into a lemon straight up. Like that's the kind of face I think it is. And then once he said Kirk Cousins, it made it all better. So I'm not gonna follow you there. Now stacks of the week, Dan. It's the favorite time of the year and week. It's the stack week. We're getting there. We're already in December. It's crazy. We're in week 13 of the NFL season. I always say once week 6 hits, it's like just zooms by the rest of the season. So you already spoiled your one stack. I mean, you can continue with that. Then I'll come in after and make it all better. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I might have spoiled both of them, honestly, but I definitely spoiled the secondary stack. I mean, I do like Pittman and Hilton's matchup this week, but I just can't bring myself to like Phillip Rivers. So having them as playbacks versus my primary plays and then rolling with like a Watson, Cooks, maybe Akins. Cooks is going to be very highly owned. Maybe, I don't know if I can get contrarian with the Kuti, Akins, how I might slip one or two of those guys in there and then playing them back with those Colts receivers I like is very interesting to me. So that's my secondary stack. Do you want to go next and then I'll go to my primary?
Yeah. Now I like game stacking and GPPs especially. I think it just makes sense. And if it hits, like you're going to be making money. I'm not saying winning it all. I'm just saying making money. Ryan Tannehill, Derrick Henry, Nick Chubb, AJ Brown. It's a high scoring game. We gave you a bunch of low value wide receiver guys with Michael Pittman, Kiki Kuti. You can kind of slide in there. If you do that in the same lineup, that's another game stack you have right there with Pittman and Kuti. And then you can figure out the last 3 positions right there for you. It's a game stack I'm doing because Tennessee. It's the highest over under on the slate. I'm targeting this game. It's gonna be a high scoring game. It's gonna be a shootout. Maybe not. But if it is, AJ Brown's going to at least have a long touchdown and get you over that 100-yard bonus with Ryan Tannehill being an accurate, no mistake quarterback, giving you at least 25 fantasy points on DraftKings with Derrick Henry eating and then Nick Chubb making it a shootout by eating on the other end. So I think that's the game stack I'm targeting this week. I like the way it looks. I like the way it sounds. I got a Chubby for the Tennessee and Cleveland game.
You didn't put Chubb in your stack, though.
No, he's in the stack. He's in the stack. Look, he's in the stack right there, Dan. I have it in it. It's in there. Nick Chubb, Derrick Henry, Ryan Tannehill, AJ Brown.
That's an interesting one there, and there's part of me that loves that.
For interesting stacks.
Like I just think Henry and Chubb are beasts, especially in December this time of year. No one wants to tackle them. They're two of the best pure running backs in the National Football League. And I guess where I struggle with that, like I do have a Tannehill stack here. It wasn't one of the stacks. It's probably like my third stack. But I was looking more with AJ Brown and Corey Davis, just Tannehill passing a lot more. I'm just not sure who to play it back with. Jarvis Landry's a little higher than I like at 6,200. But he is their number one guy and their only guy.
I'd play it back with Hodges. Is that his name?
He's a bum.
He's very cheap, though.
Their targets, you need volume. Volume is the
and Cleveland has no volume.
If I'm going to pay cheap, I'm going to at least get volume and get Kiki Kuti at 3,500 or
you can play
Denzel Mims or even your boy Guyton, who could at least catch a bomb.
Oh, that's not my boy.
Have a few catches. He was your boy a few weeks ago.
Oh,
and
I
think you were a week off with him. But
I sent him back. I said, you can come be my boy. I'll keep you a hospitality. Give us nice hospitality in my house for a week. And now you suck. Get out of here. I don't have any loyalties to Jalen Guyton.
He caught 2 Hail Marys on back-to-back plays. Unfortunately, the one was like a push-off or whatever. There's penalties, and it just didn't work out. But it's going to be Chubb, Landry, Hooper. They're the only guys catching balls there, it seems, these days. So that's an interesting stack. Which way to play it, Justin? I'm going to have to spend a little bit more time on. My primary stack of the week, though, is going to be Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Adams, and Robert Tonyan. Played back with your boy, Miles Sanders.
Oh, he expanded on my next stack. I was going to do the same thing, Sans, Robert Tonyan.
I think Rodgers.
You get a sandwich. I don't want tomato. I'm going to do Sans tomato, Sans Tonyan. Same thing. Rodgers order at the restaurant. People will understand.
Best elite quarterback on the slate, man. He's going to get the 300 yards bonus.
I want to prep. I hate Aaron Rodgers so much. Oh, he's just his family hates him. I hate him. I'm on the same wavelength as his family. Ryan Fitzpatrick, Devontae Parker. You can't go wrong stacking them either. So keep an eye out for that. Any last words you want to mention for the Week 13 slate, Dan?
That Miami, that's your homer stack of the week, I think. There, man. You got those Miami goggles on still there. I don't know what's going on, but your boy Tua's on the bench because of the
Will
thumb.
Fuller and Brendan Roby for getting suspended rest of the year. It's beautiful for Dolphins fans who have their pick. I'm hoping that they keep going downhill and we get a top 8 pick and get Jamar Chase.
I like your plan there. Those suspensions are huge, man. And Roby, we've talked about him on our show in the past. He's been like a shutdown corner this year. He's really helped a lot of my GPP lineups, playing the opposite receiver on the team and in stacks. And that's what makes me like Michael Pittman on the outside this week. He's going to have a nice matchup with no Roby there. And this has already been an offense that you could throw the ball all over. So good tips for our listeners again, man. Hopefully we're crushing it here in Week 13.
Yes, sir. Subscribe if you guys are new. Follow Dan on Twitter at FFCoachDan. My Twitter at Justin_FFB. And the podcast Twitter is at InTheMoneyDFS_. Tweet at us. Ask us any questions. Hopefully we help you guys get in the money. And I hope that we're also in the money, Dan.
Let's get it, buddy. Good luck this weekend, everyone.